Hello everyone. Here we are with our final step in this chakra journey. I thought it might be a good idea to sort of do like a review of my progress and things that came up and just take a look back, you know? You gotta look back at it sometimes. Okay. I have answered the questions. Again, I shared those from my Gumroad. If you wanna take a look and you didn't take a look from the Sunday reset, there's a link. And let's get into it. First thing that I want to start with is the expectations versus the reality of this journey. I had the idea for this series back in February, I want to say. I think that was when I first got the idea to play with the chakra energies for my videos. And I actually was only planning on doing just like a 7-day challenge. That was how the idea started. It was just going to be like a video for a week, 7 videos, you know, short ones. And it was just going to be like, this is the energy, these are symbols, you can do like a short introduction thing. But it grew the longer I sat with it. The longer I sat with the idea of it, and I ended up turning it into this whole series. I think the first video was posted in March, and now here we are almost at the end of June. That is quite a journey. That in and of itself is the biggest difference between expectation and reality. But when I started, I expected that the easiest chakra to work with was going to be the upper 2 chakras, the third eye and the crown chakra, and also the heart. I thought it would be easy. I underestimated that one, but I used to joke all the time, I'm psychic, I know what's going to happen before it happens, and like I always have like that thing. So for me, that was easy. I was like, I live there, that's where I live, that's going to be the easiest. And in terms of the heart, it was the same thing. Like I have a really big heart, and so I thought, what's so hard about the heart chakra, right? It's going to be easy. ABC 1, 2, 3, that's a layup for me. The reality of that, you know, which chakras were actually really easy for me, were partially the sacral chakra, because it's all about creativity and, you know, really embracing self-love. You know what I mean when I say that. And for me, that was really easy. I love writing. I used to write creatively all the time when I was younger, and I was recently around that time getting back into writing creatively more. So that one actually came really easy to me. There was the aspect of being in that receiving energy that was a little bit of a struggle, but I was already kind of working on that anyway, so I was a few steps ahead on that one. And also the third eye. That, like I said, that I live in the 2 upper chakras in terms of just my general energy. I'm very in tune with my intuition, so easy. Most challenging one, the chakra that I thought would be the hardest to deal with, the solar plexus and the throat chakra. You can go back and look at any of my old videos. You can barely hear what I'm saying. And a lot of those videos have me, you can just tell that there's like a little bit of a confidence thing missing in those videos. So I definitely expected to struggle there. The one that I actually struggled with the most was my solar plexus. I actually needed to spend a little more time in that energy than I expected. And like the throat chakra, this whole channel is about me working on my throat chakra, and obviously I'm still getting into that energy, but it was actually really easy because I had already been doing it the whole time. So it was just more of the same work. It really wasn't much work at all. So there's that. Getting into the highlights, we'll call it. My favorite exercise that I had offered was the sacral chakra writing prompt from the Sunday reset. The one that was like, if the afterlife was a karaoke bar. That was really fun to do. I liked that one. That was probably my favorite story that came out of it. Maybe I'll share it. I don't know when, but I really want to. It was fun. I liked doing that one. The most rewarding moment along the journey for me, it was actually seeing the way that I was moving through my life differently, with just like little everyday things, and how I was just responding differently, you know? Like there were situations and people that were very similar to situations and people that I had met in my past. And if you're the kind of person who's self-aware and you notice yourself in patterns a lot, it can feel like I'm just going in a circle. It's just another lap around the circle. But I could actually see more of like an ascending spiral instead of just a circle. Like, yes, I'm encountering similar things, but I'm on a different level now. And so I'm responding in a different way than I used to. And that was really crazy to me. And I was so excited because I was like, the old ghostie would have been breaking things. But here I am, shrugging my shoulders and just doing my little dancey dance away from the bad energy and literally vibrating myself away from the problem. I always had this idea that I had to solve things and I had to deal with everything. But sometimes the things that were coming up had nothing to do with me, and they weren't for me to solve. They weren't for me to address or deal with. And I like to help people. I like to solve things. I'm going to do it till it's done kind of person. And so for me to literally throw my hands up and say, that's not my problem, and just dance on away from it. Like, okay, that's for you guys. It has nothing to do with me. And just that lightness that comes from saying that is not my problem. Now I get why people live that way. Like 1000% I get why people are like, that's not my problem. And they just, those are the happiest person you know is the person who is comfortable saying, that's not my problem. And they mean it. And they really do live, they wash their hands of it and say, done. I love that. And I feel like I'm becoming that kind of person. It was amazing. But yes, that changed in just the way that I've been living my own life. Love it. Perfection. The milestones that came up for me, like big changes. That was one, me learning that it is not always my problem to solve. I would say that I'm going to talk about it more at the end, but there are things that I held myself back from doing on this channel, and especially in terms of the growth of this channel. I definitely had a lot of imposter syndrome holding me back and keeping me in the state of mind that I didn't, like, oh, no one's ever gonna want to pay me money for the things that I'm doing. And there was a part of me that genuinely believed that, and that part of me is being silenced more, which I really like. And so I have made a lot of changes and taken some steps behind the scenes. Like I said, I'll get into it at the end of the video. But that's huge because it's a step in the direction of saying, oh, I can actually do this. Someone will actually want to listen to me. And I do have something of value to offer the world. Big steps. I chronically undervalue my contributions to any place that I am, like my jobs, in interpersonal relationships. I'm always like, hey, it's just me. I'm just here. Like, I'm just another part of the thing. But doing all this internal work and sitting with these different energies and actually looking at myself and seeing what's in there and realizing that there's stuff of value inside of me that I can actually offer people, and there are good things about me that other people might not have as qualities, and like just actually seeing myself for who I am for the first time. Big. What growth or progress came up along the way? This is all tying back into all the other things that I've said, but to put a bow on all of it, I will say my audacity has skyrocketed to the most insane levels. That's just the best way I could say it. Oh, the audacity is off the charts. And I'm so happy to be here. So happy to be here. Good for me, right? Now, the less than stellar moments, because we're all about balance. We're all about looking at the shadow just as much as we are about turning our face to the sun. You have to have a little bit of both. Bob Ross said it the best. You can't have light without shadows. You can't appreciate the light without the shadows. That's what makes the light what it is. They need each other. They can't exist without the other. So let's focus on, the less stellar moments. Particularly difficult things that came up during, it was the throat chakra video the first one, where it was basically unusable. The audio portion of it was unusable because I heard someone outside of the room and I was like, they're listening to me. Oh my God, they're gonna hear me. And I just started talking like this. And it was just like how I was in my earlier videos where you could barely hear anything that I was saying. And I was just so mad at myself because I was like, this is the whole point of this thing. And I'm like, I've been doing this for so long. And then I had that whole setback of basically just feeling like I wasn't actually progressing. That back to the whole going in a circle versus ascending up the spiral. I thought I was just stuck back in that loop of not believing that what I was saying was correct, or that somebody was going to, judge what I was saying. And I was really kicking myself over that. What else? Unexpected revelations or just insights. Working with the different energies made me realize that I was unconsciously very much closed off in certain areas that I wasn't aware of. Like I said from the first one about how I thought that the heart chakra would be something easy for me to sit with, and then it turned out, no, your heart isn't as open as you believed that it was. It was a much needed kick in the pants to actually not just talk about it, but to be about it, you know? As much as I'm like, oh yeah, I'm an open-hearted person, I'm approachable, and then actually sitting with that energy and, the journaling and becoming aware of the fact that I was more closed off than I thought, and especially, like I said, with the sacral chakra, like I was fine with the creativity, but the receiving aspect that comes with it, I was very much closed off to receive. I didn't trust that anyone would actually want to give me anything that I wanted, and so I just had that blockage there. But I wasn't consciously aware that that's what I was doing, because to me, that's just how I've always been. Like, I never need help. I'm fine, So that was interesting to come face to face with the reality of who I am in that way. What else? The chakra that asked the most of me, I had two. It was the root and the heart. The root chakra is all about your security, and it's very much connected to financial stability. I struggle with that one big time because, as I already said, I don't value, or I didn't value, my contributions, my work. And so I have definitely been in plenty of situations where I accepted less than what I deserved because I wasn't aware that I was accepting so much less than what I deserved. Because to me, it's, I'm just here, I'm just doing my thing, whatever. But in actuality, I was doing so much more, and I was offering so much more. But I was accepting nothing for all of it. And the heart chakra. Trusting other people is terrifying when you have a tendency to be very trusting of others, and you've seen the worst of what people will do when they find someone who is like you. It was a big, big ask to step out of that energy and learn to trust. And, open myself up to other people in that way. That was huge. And to admit and acknowledge that the idea that you had of yourself in your head was actually wrong. I'm a Virgo. Being wrong is just it's like telling a Leo that they aren't the center of the universe, okay? It's the same thing. Like, don't tell a Virgo they're wrong. Don't tell a Leo that they're not the center of the universe. Same thing. So for me, confronting that I was wrong about the way that I saw myself was really hard, and definitely a challenge to work through. Which brings me to my last one. Which energy still needs work, and what energy do you think you might want to spend some more time with the solar plexus and how it ties into the root chakra energy, which is that receiving, and the root chakra all about the stability and knowing your worth. That's where I could definitely work a little bit more, which I am. But yeah, we'll get to that at the end. And obviously the throat chakra. I still always default to my whisper voice when I'm doing something that I don't feel comfortable doing. Like when I ask someone to help me with something, I'm always like, hey, can you help me? Maybe? Can you help me? Very embarrassing. But I'm working on it. I will use my big girl voice. I'm gonna get there one day. Yeah, that's everything. That is my look back on the chakra journey. It was amazing. Yeah. I can't believe I just spent that much time working on myself, like consciously, intentionally, the way that I have been. Since February, March really, when the first video, but I started working on it in February, so that's a long time. And so obviously I have to think about what comes next, right? I have some ideas for things that I would like to do. One of them is the next series I'm going to do for the summer. So July and August, the next 2 months, I'm going to be working on the Summer Serenity series. When I first started doing yoga at the studio that I found, they had a class called Flow and Restore. And so the general idea was an hour-long class. And so for the first half of the class, we would move through this vinyasa that was all about building up heat, and it was a little bit spicy, but not too spicy, like not too challenging, but enough that, you know, your heart rate was elevated and you felt like you were moving. And then the second half of the class was all about, it's like a mini yin practice, like holding poses with lots of props and the lights. They would dim the lights down for the second half of the class. They would change the pace with the music. And it would just be, you know, a nice way to end the class with like a lighter, softer, gentler energy. And so I'm going to be doing videos where the first half is going to be a little bit of a vinyasa flow, and then the second half will be a guided meditation. I already have quite a few of them ready to go, so very excited about that. I hope that will be enjoyable, especially with summer. People like to really get out and do things and interact with other people, and that is amazing. But if you are an omnivert or an extroverted introvert, you're gonna want to take some time with yourself, and the Summer Serenity videos are going to be perfect for that. They're definitely going to give you an opportunity to, one, stay active and be conscious with your movement. Summer activities are not necessarily conducive with, you know, there's potentially drinking, lots of eating. Most of the summer activities are going to be food-centric. And so this is a good way to not completely lose touch with, you know, the wellness, and also the mental wellness. You need to focus on that as well. And you're going to be taking on a lot of energy from other people, going different places. Your schedule might be a little more packed. So this is a way to step back and return and center yourself for the summer. So we're going to do that. And I really liked doing the weekend energy videos, so I'm going to keep those going. They'll still be every other week, And to alternate with that, I'm going to be starting another series. We'll see how it goes. It's called What I Dreamt, and basically I talk about a dream that I had, and then I sort of dig into it and analyze it and offer insight if somebody else may be dealing with something similar in their life. Even if they're not currently dealing with it, it's a hang sesh kind of. It's just me talking about my dream, which if you're into that, then cool. If not, maybe you should watch it anyway. Give it a chance. And I will be offering guided meditations to go along with each of those videos as well. Those are going to be posted on my Gumroad. I will have a PDF version where you can just read and do a self-guided meditation, and I will also be recording audio versions of the meditations where you can purchase them and listen to them. For the first episode, which is going to be, I think it's called The High Priestess, or Meeting the High Priestess, but for that one, the PDF version will be free, and there will be a code. I'm gonna put a link for that on the video itself, where you can get 50% off the audio guided version. This is what I meant when I said I'm taking steps to grow. Am I worried about it? Not really, because if nobody buys it, it doesn't matter. But hopefully somebody will be interested in my guided meditation. I like doing them. I think they're fun. And hopefully they actually resonate and offer something to someone out there. Somebody wants to meditate. I know it. Was there anything else? No, that's it. So yeah, Summer Serenity is going to start in July. We're going to have What I Dreamt, and we will be continuing with the weekend energy readings. So that's what's coming. Hopefully this was fun. Hopefully the last few months were as illuminating for you as they were for me. And I guess thank you so much for sitting with me today and through the entire chakra journey. I'm gonna say this now because I never have ever said this before, but if you like the video, please throw your girl a like. And if you are not subscribed and you would like to be subscribed so that you can jump in on the Summer Serenity or any of the other things that I have going on, hit that subscribe button. That was weird. I'm trying to get used to saying it, but we'll see how it goes. I'm not gonna say it on like every video, but I'm gonna try to put that out there more. I'm going to end it here. Thank you. I hope that you have a good rest of your day, and I hope that you are well. Throw one of these in there because I have to. Bye, I guess. Bye.